Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks again for everybody for joining our meeting today. Today I am going to talk about putting together an onboarding solution in SharePoint using the Infowise Ultimate Forms toolset. So what I'd like to do first of all is give you an introduction. I want to tell you a little bit about my involvement with this product and my background. And then I want to explain a little bit about how this tool set works in SharePoint. We'll then look at the solution that I put together as an example showing how you can build your own system like this. And I'll show you how it works from the user interface perspective and then share some details about how you would build this kind of solution in SharePoint using Infowise. Again, my name's Will Cooper. I'm a training coordinator for Infowise. A lot of the information related to examples and training in the Infowise site are things that I've worked on. My background is in Microsoft, specifically in web development. In the last 5 years or so, I've been very involved with SharePoint. 3 years ago, I began doing work and using the Infowise toolset. And as a developer and as an Infowise customer, I've been very happy with the flexibility that I've had being able to use the Infowise tools. And I've been able to build sophisticated solutions very rapidly using this interface. So this tool set is really something that I care a lot about and something that I believe in as a developer. And I also like the fact that this is something that could be used by power users in SharePoint. This is a no-code solution. So really, it's very inviting for folks who might be intimidated by anything that might have to involve with scripting or SharePoint design or anything like that, since that isn't necessary in this case. The Infowise Ultimate Forms product is available both for on-premise SharePoint and Office 365. So all of that functionality that you would use is available on both types of environments. In either case, once you have this installed in your SharePoint environment, you have a configuration screen that really serves as a home base for all of the different types of configuration and things that you can do using Infowise Ultimate Forms. So in the interface, it actually suggests a process to you. So the initial steps are very much like what you might be used to with other things that you'd set up in SharePoint. Really everything begins with a list. So you start with that same process of setting up the columns that you need in an initial list, and then you can actually set up other kinds of fields, which I'll show you, which Infowise provides to give you some extra functionality and additional visual appeal. But you can see what this design screen looks like. In the right panel, it shows the sequence of steps, and you just kind of walk through these steps as you're building a solution. But as you would expect with this product, it gives you a lot of ability to customize the look and feel of forms and really tailor the interface for your users based on their role or where they are in a process, especially breaking it into tab sections and using visual fields. In particular, Infowise has a color choice field in which you can use icons. That really does make a difference breaking up the text. There's a lot of things we can also do with the actual workflow logic. So usually in SharePoint, you would build out a workflow using SharePoint Designer. And anyone who has experience using that tool can attest to some of the frustration. It's not easily accessible, certainly not for folks who are not really technical, and it really has a learning curve. By comparison, the actions functionality in Infowise is much more accessible, and it's great in that it's built right into the SharePoint user interface. So really, that functionality can effectively replace anything where you would possibly have to have a programmer or a technical person build workflow. So some of those items you see in this blue box on the right-hand side, all of the main configuration is shown in these panels. The tab section is where you can set up where fields go. The actions, which I just mentioned, are in the business logic section. And then the various field types are under this column section at the bottom. So there's a lot of functionality in here. Really, you can think of this as a set of tools that really complement each other and augment what you would otherwise be able to do in SharePoint. So that's the basic process. That being said, I actually just want to jump into an example which I set up and talk about how you could specifically work with these tools and build an onboarding solution inside your SharePoint environment. So each organization has its own unique requirements, but from a broad perspective, they share common goals when it comes to having a new person joining a team. Typically, there's a consistent series of steps, and there's tasks and things that you want to make sure that that new employee would accomplish, especially in those first couple of weeks beginning in their new job. And there's some coordination between both the manager and the team and the HR manager. Of course, there's general information that employees need, but then there's specific things that that employee would need to get ramped up and acclimated to their new responsibilities. So in this system, we really have two kinds of roles. On one hand, we have a manager dashboard, and that's what I've got pulled up. And the idea on this dashboard, this is something that the company's managers and HR managers could use to add a plan. That's really the main list in this example solution. I've called this onboarding plans. And so what would happen is for each employee that's starting out with a team, you would add a new record into this list. And in that, you can put all the key information in regard to their process. So you can see I've set up a tabbed interface. With Infowise, what you're able to do is use a setting screen where you configure which fields show up as you go between the tabs. So this is both something accessible for the managers in terms of setting up the plan for the new employee, but this is also what the employee is going to look at, and they would use that in different ways. So the general concept is that we're trying to prepare a dashboard for the employees as they start out. So for each employee, we'd have a page that's called My Onboarding Page. And you can see I just have my name up here. So the concept is that for each person, they'd have their own unique page which would show just their plan. In these situations, of course, there's always a lot of consistent common links that all new employees need information on. So you can see I just use regular SharePoint web parts to show common links and common documents. So the HR managers can update this, and they can know with confidence that for every employee, as they're going to this page and going through their tasks, they have access and links to all the information they need at this particular time. So we're kind of creating a system where there's going to be a portal for that employee. So that's all common information that everyone would see. In the middle of the page, you see the plan for onboarding for that employee. So they would only see that record, and by permissions and security, we can automate this and set it up so that that employee only sees their own page. So as a manager, what I might do is create the new plan, and then I can add information that's specific to the new employee on my team. So the key libraries we have are set up in associated lists. One thing that's really great with Infowise, it allows you to set up what I describe as a pseudo database-like functionality. You can have these many-to-one relationships. So in this case, we know that new employees are going to have specific tasks that we want them to accomplish as they're learning the new processes, reading documentation, that type of thing. And whether it's the HR manager or the manager on the team, those can just be added in this section. So you can see in my onboarding tasks, these are tasks that are specific for this plan. And then in each one of those, you see visual indicators which show where that is in the process. So this could vary. This is dynamic based on each new employee. So the manager on that team can go in here, and the process of setting up a task is really easy. So basically, once you're in this form, it'll just show you a pop-up window. And of course, I can configure whatever fields I want, but I'll just show you an example of a new task that I'll set up. So then I can just put some kind of description down here. This is really for the benefit of the new hire, just to give them some guidance on what they're supposed to do. And then in the status, we just have 3 basic status levels. So this is interactive. So as the employee, it gives me some feeling of confidence that I can have progression, and I can show, all of us when we're starting a new job, we're eager to show that we're working through our steps and we want to show our progress. So this is something that can help them really build up their confidence. And then the person who's assigning this, so it may be their manager or an HR manager, somebody like that, they can just put in their name using the SharePoint people picker field. And then the priority is key because as you know, especially when you're getting started, there's lots of things that have to happen, and especially when you're new, it's hard to differentiate between what's really important or what's a lower priority. So this can really help to differentiate between things that need to come right away or things that can wait till a little bit later on. So this can be really as many as you want. Like I said, this is a database-like functionality. This is a sub-list of information that you can add at any time. So even inside of those 2 weeks, there may be more things that manager can just add things to this onboarding plan anytime they need to. Okay, so likewise, we want to make sure this new employee has all the documentation and everything that they need. So unlike the common documents, which were on the right sidebar, this would be maybe specific information and documents that the manager in that team wants the employee to read. So these can be added in the same way. You just click the new entry and you can add more items that would show just for this employee and their plan. And then additional to that, we can do the same thing with the links. Now, I'm sure everybody on the call can relate to the feeling of, especially being at a new company, trying to learn all the new people. I know I have a tendency to forget names easily, and it can be really overwhelming when you're introduced to a lot of new people at the same time. I can remember, even jotting down a diagram or something, trying to remember that. This contacts tool could be really helpful. That new employee can make some notes, or even as a manager, you can help that employee feel more comfortable by just jotting down those key people that they're going to be talking to a lot, in the first setup. So they can take some notes and not feel like they're having a hard time keeping up with all the people they're talking to. So that's the purpose of that tab. The way our system's set up, the welcome message is something that's automated, and what it does is just insert some information automatically whenever you create a new record. So nobody has to set this up, but it's to give it maybe kind of a softer touch so everything doesn't feel very stark and regimented as far as what they're doing. So you can add a little bit of polish this way. So it's automatically inserting the names of the related HR manager and hiring manager at the bottom of this. And we have a email template set up the same way. So I'll show that to you in just a second. So basically, all the managers just can come in and they would just simply click new item to add a plan for a new employee when they're starting the team, and then they can just return to this dashboard anytime they need to make updates. From the employee perspective, they're just going to go to their own onboarding page and edit there. Now, what's really great with Infowise with the actions, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, you know, what do I need to do to set up a page for a new employee? You know, that sounds like it could be multiple steps, or it could get complicated or hard to keep up with. And all of that could be totally automated. You can create actions. So for example, when a new record is created in the onboarding plans list, we can create an action which will automatically copy a page. So what we do is have a My Onboarding page as a template, and then it can even configure the name. We'll put that employee's name at the top and automatically set the permissions so that it's just viewable to that specific employee. So all those steps that you might do manually, we can really streamline and make this efficient. So that's a really cool aspect of Infowise. I do want to show you how the email alerts are configured. With SharePoint out of the box, email alerts are usually pretty basic. There's really not a lot of options, and it's not the most exciting thing in the world when you get a new email using that functionality. With Infowise, they really provide a very polished and robust email alert system. This is especially important when considering a onboarding solution because, as I mentioned, you don't want things to seem stark and maybe too regimented or unfriendly. We're trying to create a welcome environment for that new employee. So all of these things play into that. With Infowise, to do email alerts, all you have to do is click on this Add Alert icon, and you get a whole bunch of options that are otherwise unavailable if you're just using the SharePoint alert system. The general concept is that you first create an email template, and you can use an HTML visual style editor where you can actually do very nice formatting and make it look very polished. So I've actually created an alert, and I just wanted to give you an idea of the possibilities. You can see I actually inserted an image into the email, and I hope you would agree this looks a lot more friendly than sort of just the plain email with just straight text. So this template will be used when that new record is created for the onboarding, so they'll get this nice inviting email in their inbox right when they're getting started and open up their email for the first time. So it gives them a link to their specific page, and then what it's going to do is auto-generate the names of the managers just based on that form that we fill out. So you can just have fields inserted. So this template system is extremely dynamic, and you really have the ability to polish those emails that go out so that they are friendly and attractive to look at, especially for the new employee. So in terms of using the system, you create a template first, and then what we do is create a rule that we pair up with that. So I'll show you that next step. In the alerts, as you create them in the system, they stack up in this section. You can see these are accordion-style menus that expand and collapse, and this is all within the SharePoint user interface. I don't have to open up some other application or go into SharePoint Designer or somewhere else. I'm doing this all from the context of that list. So this is the rule that I created, and I want to show you how simple it is in terms of setting up steps. There's really not a lot to it. So you just come up with a name for your alert, and then you have a dynamic system where you can assign who's going to receive the email. Just like in the email template, rather than statically entering information each time. Instead, what we can do is map the values of fields. So in those new onboarding plans, in that list, we have a field called employee, which is the new employee, and then we have a field for hiring manager and HR manager. So contingent on what is in those fields for each record, the email is going to go to that. So this responds dynamically. That's exactly what we want to happen. Below this, we can configure rules based on when that email can go out. This can be very simple or it can be complex. We can use conditions that would make it go out at specific times on a reoccurring basis or based on values to certain fields. So in general, that's one aspect of this product which is very impressive. It scales in a very flexible way. I can learn this product and I can do things that are valuable to me at a basic level, but I also have the ability to get very sophisticated and build very in-depth solutions. There's a lot of depth to the functionality. In our case, all we have to do is make this go out whenever a new record is added. So I just have to check that first checkbox, and then I can say that I want this to go out immediately after that new record. And then in the bottom, I just basically configure which email template I'm going to use to go out. And I hit OK and it'll add in there. So I've already got that rule set up. So now immediately when I create a new record on that list, you're going to see that email go out. And as a developer, what a lot of times I'll do, I'll blind copy myself on those email alerts, and that's nice because I can kind of have a confirmation. I know for sure what's going out, and I can verify that or make adjustments depending on what's going on, so I can keep an eye on things. I do want to talk to you about the actions functionality. Having development background, that's a part that I especially love. I'm kind of a nuts and bolts guy. I like to kind of build the machinery, and for more technically oriented people, this is one of the more exciting areas of the product. So I'll show you how that works a little bit in this list real quick. So I mentioned to you that when you're in the list, you can go to the ribbon toolbar, and once you have the product installed, you'll see some changes in the user interface. So this puzzle pieces design icon shows up, and it gives you access to this hub screen, as I described it, where all of those Infowise settings are. I'll actually show you a couple things. Before I get into the functionality, let me show you how the form configuration is set up. So setting up these tabs is really just a matter of going into this section, and you can just type the names of the tabs that you want. And then you can use this picker field right here to indicate which of the fields that you have you want to show up in each tab. So it's really a fast process and very intuitive. You can see the number drop down, so I can toggle these and reorder my fields very quickly if I need to. There's additional configuration and settings. So again, there's the depth there if I want it. If I really want to polish the look and feel, change things on a more granular level, those settings are available. So as you learn the product and become more involved, you have the ability to get into that kind of thing. So let me go to the logic section. I mentioned to you as a developer, I really get excited by this part of the product. So I'll just show you one of these actions real quick. So when you create an action, you work through 4 tabs of configuration for each action, and there are many types of actions that you can do. So in this example, I have updating a list item, and for this, all I want to do basically is put in this pre-populated message with some fielded information. And just like the email alerts, you can control whether this happens on a new event or for edit, or I can even have it reoccurring using a timer. So that might be handy for like a nag alert, something where somebody needs to perform some task. usually don't have to do anything on the advanced settings. Those are typically very consistent. And then in the action settings area, basically what I'm doing is I'm having to just insert some really basic HTML and include these fields. So you can see the square brackets around the fielded information. So this could really be anything I want, but this is just an example of doing that. And then you can set some rules about where this applies. So basically I'm just saying I want this to apply to the current item. I do want to show you some of the kinds of actions you can do. Update list item by far is the most commonly used action, but you have a lot of options. I mentioned to you this whole process of creating portal pages for each new employee can be automated, and this is how you do it. So you have the option to create a copy an item or document, so you could do that, and this can scale all the way to a list or even site level. And then we talked about permissions. In this case, we may be wanting to be careful in terms of making sure that only a particular employee sees a page or that they don't see other pages. And if you want to do that, rather than what you might typically do where you manually go through steps and go into the security and permissions for an item, you can actually fully automate that process. So you can take all those manual clicks away and have it happen automatically. There is the ability to import and export items. There's extensive print functionality. You can even do PowerShell. So there's quite a lot of depth here to explore. I just wanted to make you aware of some of that additional functionality with the actions. For printing, there's a lot of settings around that. You can do basic reports very quickly. So what I like about this is it'll actually automate the process of creating a PDF and email that out to users. So I can use edit mode, in which I just pick columns I want to show on a report and configure headers and footers for that. Or if I want to get a really specific kind of output, you can actually do some specific formatting, and we have some information on our site about that process. One thing I did want to talk to you about, there is some learning that's involved with the product. I do like that it's intuitive and accessible. Over a period of time, I've had the opportunity to learn more and more approaches with this product. And to be honest, I keep discovering new abilities with that. And I find that other users find things that I might not think of, and vice versa. As you're starting out with the product, Infowise has very good information about how to use each of these different kinds of tools. I know especially when you're starting out with a new platform, it can be a little bit intimidating, and there's a lot of questions about where you go to do things, or what the appropriate steps are. So there can be some apprehension about that, and even as the lead user in the product, you're trying to fight that battle, but there's probably even more apprehension for the other people that are getting involved with the tool. In the website, we have lots of great information, including videos, and they're very bite-sized. I found that people are a lot more apt to watch a short little video than maybe reading through a lot of documentation. So to me, I think that makes it more accessible. But you can see we have screenshots and examples that show how to do things. So this is a way that you can ramp up with the product pretty quickly by working with the training section. And then as you might guess, since I'm a training coordinator for Infowise, I also like to have the opportunity to work with people in person to help them get that hands-on experience with the tool. So another key part about this product, especially as a company considering adopting this for the first time, we have web-based training sessions where I can actually work directly with your team to help them get practice with the product. The emphasis of that type of training is a hands-on approach. So basically what you do in this case is you have lab-style training, and you're able to work through steps to practice with the product, but you get your hands dirty and you practice with the solution. And I feel confident that for any users who've worked through those lab sessions, that they would have the confidence to move forward and actually build solutions confidently, within your product. So that's a great way to ramp up quickly and get proficient with this product, especially as a company just beginning use of this in your SharePoint environment. So with that being said, I've really kind of covered the main things that I wanted to demonstrate today. Really, there's a lot of approaches that you could use, but what's important to take away from this is that you have total flexibility to meet your requirement. So I imagine there are out-of-the-box onboarding type solutions out there for SharePoint, but what I would expect is you might run into some problems where your specific requirements aren't going to match up with what that out-of-the-box solution provides. With this tool set, you would be able to build according to your own specific requirements, but more importantly, having the Ultimate Forms in your environment would give you the ability to continue forward and build more tools related to HR. If you look at our website, we do have some recordings. I've tried to show some other HR related applications, including an example applicant tracking system, a leave request system, and a project planning system. So there's lots of examples like this if you want to look at the blog and just get some general ideas. You can post any questions you have in the chat. We'll go ahead and leave that open and stay on the call for a while. Or else you may email to support@infowisesolutions.com. And I believe my email's on the website in the training section. You're fine to email me as well. And my email is willc@infowisesolutions.com. I really appreciate everybody joining our call today. As I said at the beginning of the call, I really believe in this product. I was first a customer before working with them, and still am a customer. I actually use Infowise and work with other customers to help them build solutions. So I've seen a lot of value with the product, and I'm very happy to help other people get the benefit that I've had with the product. So thank you again, and I appreciate you guys getting the call, and I hope to be speaking with you, some of you again, very soon in the near future. Thank you.